we're here in my office. Nothing special, just a 3x4 meter room with white walls, ceiling, spotlights, and a desk with a computer. You need to edit videos for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And also paperwork, and it's actually this paperwork that made me want to set up the white panel you see behind me, which is 2.5 meters high and 3 meters wide. We're going to use the 3 meters of width and 1 meter of height, and we're going to install some cabinets. I didn't make things complicated for myself because I know myself I'm going to want to do something perfect. Buying melamine. Melamine is getting more and more expensive. I'm going to want to cut it, put in racks, brackets, shelves so that it's adjustable in height. I'll end up spending entire days on it. You buy your cabinets here and just assemble them. I hate doing it, but I'll manage. Assembly costs 28 euros, saving you money and time. Then you hang them up with the little rail that fits perfectly on the panel. And as for the fronts, we're going to make them, you'll see. It's easy to do, costs less than buying ready-made fronts, and I didn't like any of the available colors. So I'll end up with cabinets above the computers. We'll install a small LED strip underneath and add trim around to keep dust off the cabinets. It'll be like a kitchen, but instead of a stovetop or sink, I have computers. It's basically the same idea. We're saving space. This cabinet is 1.8 meters tall, 80 centimeters wide, 42 deep, and already full. We bought it not very long ago. There's another packed closet behind you, so I'm emptying this cabinet. Everything inside goes into boxes, and this cabinet is being moved elsewhere. I gained some space in the walkway. I'll show you around, explain everything, and we still have baseboards to install. I think, basketball is my passion. I already removed another frame here. I also need to take out 2 screws and we'll add this frame to the panel later. When I removed this cabinet, which is full of paperwork at the bottom, and it's not any better, there's paperwork everywhere. All that paperwork will go into the drawers that we're going to put on this panel. This panel is just under 2.97 meters. It's 2.96 meters. And bananas, 260 cm drawers each side, 2.4 in total. Plus a 40 cm middle drawer makes 2.8 meg. Side panels, a top panel, and an underside panel with an LED strip to light up the desks and computers. It's going to look great. If it bothers the computers, I'll remove it, but it shouldn't. I've done it before and it works well, so it will work for me. 3 meters of storage, that's 1 meter high. That's still quite a lot of storage. It'll be much bigger than this cabinet, so we can store stuff in there, no problem. It'll fit fine, but first we need to take a look at it. I removed all the baseboards and made a video about it for you. Because we have a problem, the parquet creaks in every room where it was installed in this house. Because they installed it in a kind of weird way, you see? It's staggered, there's about 12 centimeters each time, and they should have offset it much wider. Let's just say, well, that's how it is, that's how it was done. I'd have to redo everything, but I don't have the time. I cut around the perimeter about 2 months ago, but I don't remember exactly. 1 centimeter all around the perimeter so the floor can move or the partitions can move to prevent it from creaking. Okay, but it still creaks in some places, so the floor, one day I'll do it and we'll redo everything. But in this room, honestly, I don't really need to redo the floor or repaint the walls. I did them years ago, they're clean and perfect. For an office, that'll be just fine. Okay, so let's focus on the baseboards for now. We glue everything. I'll show you which glue we'll use for that. And once we put up the baseboards, we'll move on to the box. I've cut all my classic white baseboards. And of course, one day I'll repaint this room walls and ceiling, and I'll lightly sand the baseboards. I'll degrease them, add primer and paint, so they'll match the walls. For now, they're a bit whiter, but that's fine. It's just an office, so let's keep it simple. Ideally, place a bracket by the door frame in this corner. I made a 45-degree cut, glued a piece back, it's neat and perfect. It's just an office, so let's not get carried away. So we can go ahead and glue the small baseboards. In the last video, if you missed it, I discussed Ecoposh and Patex's ecological initiative. And by continuing this desire to reduce the ecological footprint, Patex and Rupson cartridges contain at least 75% recycled plastic, which saves 100 tons of virgin plastic per year. It's much more environmentally friendly. So only the cartridges with compatible formulas have been replaced by recycled cartridges. Some formulas are not compatible. With recycled packaging, Rupson and Patex cartridges now feature a new visual identity with a label at the top indicating the packaging uses at least 75% recycled material. And the packaging has been standardized to better highlight the product's benefits, while of course emphasizing the ecological commitment. And to glue the baseboards, we're going to use the acrylic formula, namely the Patex Pro 100. So we're going to put little dabs of glue. There we go. And then we press it on and vibrate it all. And of course, on top, we'll add a little acrylic seal later. I'll do that when it's dry. And here you can really feel the suction effect of the glue. It doesn't move at all. It's handy to have a strong glue. It saves you from having to use a shim, a prop, a clamp, whatever. There are also shims that you can put right in the gap you've made between your flooring and your wall. It sticks out under the baseboard and then you tighten the baseboard afterward. With a little block that sticks out basically. But honestly, with such a strong glue, you don't need it. I just have to be careful not to bump my head while I'm getting up. But it goes by itself. It just happens. Hop. The little dots of glue. Add a little more here since there's a groove. If you need to run cables, now is the time. That's perfect. I have to stick this complaint on like this. It's inconvenient, but we'll manage. Otherwise, I have to lay it flat elsewhere and slide it between the legs, but I'll get glue on the wall. So we'll manage. So the wire, just so it doesn't bother me, there we go. In the corner, it's done. That means all along you have to check that it's properly pressed down. I applied some acrylic sealant to the baseboards. As for the finish, it's perfect. Anyway, everything is done with the baseboards. Same here. I also did it there behind the door. It's perfect. It works for me. It's white. It's clean. That's it. End of story. So let's take a look at this panel. I'm keeping the screens for now since I want to see with the cabinets how high or low I can set them. Of course, I have removed the laptops because the goal is to get on the desk to install the rail and the cabinets. And to install the rail, we're going to use this magnet. Here, I have a magnetized post behind me and there's another one somewhere, but I forget where. Here, it's here. So this magnet is really handy because it has a coating on it that doesn't leave any marks at all. Then there's another one here and another one somewhere around here, but I don't remember exactly where. So I'm going to locate them here and then after that here, of course. Okay, the link for the small magnet is in the description. We'll put it back here. I'm locating the studs. We'll screw directly into them so the rail will be fixed into the studs, but I'll still use some anchors. Expansion, you never know. The boxes are ready with 4 shovels in 60 and 1 in 40. I didn't film everything since it's repetitive. Regardless of size, assembly is identical. A board on top and bottom, 2 sides and a back. And of course, the small hardware so you can hang the box on the rail. And it goes like this, quite simply. So the advantage of this system is that you can't slide the rail, but you can slide the boxes on the rail. So this comes from IKEA, it's the method range. If you go to Leroy Merlin, Castorama, it doesn't matter. You'll have pretty much the same thing. A rail and boxes hanging on the rail. What I like about the IKEA system, well, I chose IKEA because I'm used to assembling IKEA kitchens, so I know the system. The boxes are mostly offset from the wall where they're mounted. That's why we add 2 small white brackets at the bottom, since the box mounting brackets stick out. And that's actually pretty good. First, because it allows you to hang it on the rail. And above all, if you forgot to run a wire, you can still run your wire. That way you don't have to cut into the box at the top or bottom. And then bother with running a wire. When I say a wire, I mean a cable. For example, a 3G, a 525, whatever. So not a water supply, but a 3G25, yes. We'll attach this rail to the plasterboard. I'm the one who brings the plasterboard to the metal stud. For now, I'm going to screw it into the studs and then I'll add some expansion anchors. Each rail uses this plate type with 10 plates per rail. And this little plate, let's say it acts as a washer even though it's rectangular. Let's imagine that so you're not in a plasterboard wall, for example, you're in a load-bearing wall, you put in your screw and it's sticking out of the wall. We're simply going to put the rail in place, let it rest on the screws, and then we'll take the little plate. We slide it into the screw, release it, and all of this happens inside the rail. And of course, the plate can't come out anymore. It's the screw head that holds the plate, so it acts as a washer. Okay, if you need to remove it, just take it off. You can then easily detach the rail. This system is pretty good. But in my case, I had to add a washer to my screws since I'm using expansion anchors, diameter 4. And with this type of plate, the head isn't big enough, so I add a washer. But if you have screws that are big enough, you don't need to add a washer. You put your screw in, you simply put the rail, and then you add the small plate, and there you go, it locks in place. It's as simple as that, and it's a very clever system. And once we're done with everything, well, we'll lock it with this little gray piece inside the cabinet. We turn it and now the box can't be lifted. Let's go into the room, attach the rail and hang the box. I lowered the rail by about 1 cm because I noticed there was a difference in level between the left side and the right side. The ceiling has about a 1 cm difference over 2.96 meters, which is significant. So to balance it out, I lowered it by 1 centimeter. My molding will be thinner here than there, but at about 4 cm, it won't be very noticeable. And then my doors, in the end, I'm going to put them all the way up. They'll cover the molding. I'll explain everything to you in a moment. Expansion anchor, stud, then another anchor and stud. I added a screw since the left one spins in the air. I think I'm at the edge of the stud, so I added another one. Expansion anchor, screw into the studs, expansion anchor, and so on. Honestly, if it collapses now, I don't understand. I brought an outlet. I ran the conduit through the partition, And there, I didn't make things complicated for myself. I put a screw in the 55 ceiling, it sticks out, we mark it and run the conduit down. I set myself at 20 signum here since the boxes are 40 and did the same above. It was easy to mark and run down. So I'll be able to connect the small transformer. It will directly power the LED strip under the boxes. Okay, so now the boxes, it's not complicated. We take this one and then we come and hang it up. Here, I made my hatch large enough for both hands to fit through anyway to work on the outlet. Because if you start by making a very small hole for the outlet and one day there's a problem, you'll have to take apart the box to work on the outlet. So for now, we'll put this one over here. We'll put the one in the middle. It's 40 wide. I've made my mark. It's perfectly aligned. There we go. I align this one like this, and this one needs to go here, so I have this left. We'll put a strip on afterwards. Which one are we taking next? This one. And we're going to put it all the way in the back. Build that system of rail. There we go. And there you go. And well, there you go. So now all we have to do is screw them together and then put on the hinges, the fronts, the panel, etc. So I was just thinking about the varnish that I applied to the fronts. For now, I put on 2 coats. I'm not going to film every coat for you. It's super repetitive, nothing complicated. You take a foam roller or a short nap roller, dip it in the varnish and apply it. Wait 6-8 hours for it to dry. Then sand with 320 grit to fix imperfections. Apply a second coat, let it dry, and sand again before a third coat, knowing that the neutral detergent fiber is enough for them. So 3 coats are really, really good, especially on the edges. It's ideal for them. You may need at least 5 coats and ensure it doesn't run on either side. I used varnish because that's what I had, but you could use oil, lacquer, or anything else you prefer. So the thought I had was, why didn't I apply the varnish directly to the panel before cutting it? Maybe I would have saved time and especially space, because by cutting my panels, I have to put them here and there. I have one here and 3 against another panel since I need to make a bathroom cabinet. In black medium density fiberboard, and I think I'm going to try to varnish the whole panel before cutting it. But there's a risk of damaging it with the rail, the saw, or while handling it. You see what I mean? But I'm going to try it. I'll see how it turns out. And I have another panel on XPS behind the camera, so it takes up space. Otherwise, I can get on the floor, but if I do, dust might settle on the varnish and I won't be able to move around. You can also draw geometric shapes on the surfaces. I numbered them myself, which is enough. I'll put them in order. So on the floor, we put a rail on top and make a cut with a plunge saw. It's about 2 mm deep and 2 mm wide. You can also draw geometric shapes on the surfaces. I don't do it because it's just an office, but I think you could do it for a kitchen. It can give a certain style, or even for a piece of furniture. Do you want to make a piece of furniture out of medium density fiberboard? So you can draw shapes. I have the same thing in Etiche. So Etiche or Bloom. Let's say there's an advantage to using Bloom. It's that it's easier to install. Here, you just have to fold it down to lock Etiche. Locking it this way each time can be a hassle. However, Etiche has an advantage visible at the top. In terms of the depth of the hinge compared to the edge of your front, the Bloom is underneath. So if you're not careful and it's out of adjustment, well, you'll mess up all your fronts. Here, I have a direct view from the top. If I set it to 5, I know I'm at 5, you just have to check it. So here, I set a depth of 5 mm because these are Blum hinges that open to 110 degrees and it's recommended to set them 5 mm from the edge. I set it to 5. It can be adjusted. Blum or Etiche lets you set it to 3, 8, 7, 2 mm or any value you want. And when it comes to drilling, it's exactly the same thing. It's a 35 mm bit and next to it, 2 small 8 mm bits and all of that can be changed. Of course, whether it's on the Etiche or the Bloom, you can change the bits very easily. But let's say I have a slight preference for the Bloom because it can be set up very quickly on the front, but otherwise the Etiche works perfectly. Okay, and one last thing just to make sure you don't make a mistake. Exactly, for installing hinges, I had 5 fronts, each needing 3 hinges, totaling 15 hinges. So what I did is I made myself a template from scrap medium density fiberboard with a stop on top marks the 0 point, which I place at the top of my door, making sure to respect the height of the panel at the top and bottom, knowing that my door is 1 meter tall. So I took the dimensions of the standard hinges from IKEA cabinets and I marked the bottom hinge directly. I cut my template, placed it on each front and marked them. The blue tape was there so I could see, otherwise I couldn't see anything. For the middle hinge, I cut it to size, use my template on each door to mark them, then do the top hinge. And here, you can't go wrong. If you do, it means you measured your hinges incorrectly on your template. If you've measured the cabinets correctly or set your bases by the hinges, just transfer that to your template. You can't go wrong. It's the best solution because if you measure every time at some point, you're going to make a mistake. Mixing up millimeters and centimeters can easily cause mistakes when working on a door, leading to disaster. So make yourself a template. It takes 2 minutes to make and you're sure to place all your hinges in the same spot. Okay, so I'm going to keep varnishing all this, sanding, putting on a 3rd coat and so on. And then we put the hinges directly on the fronts. It snaps on directly. Some have a glass panel, but mine doesn't. Then we add the fronts. The small remote I use is Philips Hue, since I have Philips Hue at home, but any brand would work. I need to tell you about this remote and especially about the finishing plate, because my neighbor customized the finishing plates for the switches for me. So I'll be able to put this remote next to my switch. I'll show you that in a bit, but if I press it, cold white. Pressing Philips Hue makes it colder. Press again for warm, then very warm, and once more for very, very warm. However, it's dimmer. So I can increase the intensity. Of course, we can lower the intensity. I can turn everything off, and of course, we'll turn everything back on. If I want color, it goes through the Dreamy Twilight app. Just the name makes you dream. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? So, of course, you set whatever scenario you want. Every day of the week from 8 o'clock, from 8 to 7 p.m. or on weekends from 10 to noon. I don't know. The memories, it's beautiful and blue. I'm not sure, what should we use? Let's go with this one. It's perfect with a single setting. Set up any scenario you want, whether you're on vacation using an LED strip, ceiling lights, or a desk lamp. Set it up and it will turn on automatically, simulating someone being home. I simply stuck the LED strip underneath, so filming it was awkward. That's what I'm showing now. I replaced the black varnished medium density fiberboard and the LED strip is attached. And the outlet, of course, is there. So I didn't put the cover on, I'll do that later. For now, I just threw the files in there quickly because I had to remove the cabinet that was there, that's done. Some small files, I need to sort all that out, but for now I don't really have the time. The idea is to put that in the cupboards. I still have a lot of space left, surprisingly, since it's not organized well. I need to sort through the paperwork, but we have a lot more space. Okay. For varnishing the inside of the doors, I kept it simple. I didn't sand them first and just applied varnish directly, since it's only the inside. But on the outside, of course, I sanded them again. I applied some sanding sealer. For those who are wondering, it's a kind of primer or undercoat. You can call it whatever you want. It's used to seal the surface. It dries quickly and I used a roller to apply it. I should have done it with a spray gun because it created some lighter spots in certain areas. There's still a lot of dust in the workshop. I noticed 2 or 3 flaws in some spots, though I don't recall exactly where. I think there's one around here, but I don't remember. We'll see. The plan was to install the doors, but I still need to adjust them. For instance, this one should be closer to the panel. But I'm going to sand everything in place. We'll sand it with 400 grit just to smooth it out, and I'm going to refinish it, but with a spray gun. So I'll put tarps everywhere, masking tape, and then I'll do it right here. But overall, I'm satisfied. IKEA doors were only 1 meter high, so I could see the top panel and the panel. Here, the fact of putting a door all the way up. Well, that's not so bad. At least I can't see anything anymore with the 2 little covers on each side. Well, we're good here, honestly. So I was a little scared, to be honest with you all, that it would look like a crowd above the screens, but in the end, it works. It doesn't bother me. The light doesn't dazzle the screens at all. So we're all good. I'm going to talk to you about the Philips Hue remote. So the Philips Hue remote, of course, it has a base. You put it on top, it's magnetized. I never use the base and I've already lost the remote because obviously it's small and it gets lost very easily. So the idea is to leave it on the base. On the back, remove the double-sided tape to stick it or use screws. Either way works. But what would be good is if it's compatible with the switches, whether it's Schneider, Legrand, or even a GSB brand switch. No matter who the rower or what helmet you use, you can see it's not the same width, height, or compatible. Okay, and we simply place the switch and the remote next to each other. It doesn't have a magnet on the back, so just add a small one and it will hold. It looks like this. So this is the first version and the second version. He always saw the switch. Well, now imagine it like this. So my plate, the remote control, on the back, there's a small magnet that works well. So we have a plate that covers the switch, and the remote control. It's as simple as that. So he's the one who did this for me. And honestly, the result is great. Again, you can paint it any color you want. If I want it in blue or red, I just apply primer, spray it, and use the remote control. Same thing, blue or red on it. You just need to strip it a little with acetone to make it work. I think there's a kind of satin film on it. So you remove the satin film and then you buy some stickers and you stick a sticker on it. You see what I mean? It can be customized easily, but honestly, this plate is going to change my life because I leave the remote on it. Now it stays in place and I don't lose it. And it's much more aesthetic than having a switch like that and a plate that you just put next to it. I told you about the small boxes, LED strip and switches. We'll see each other very soon for another video. And in the meantime, take care and see you soon.